While closing the 8th Uganda Model United Nations Conference, UN Resident Coordinator Ms Rosa Malongo tasked stakeholders to consider youth in planning as the only way to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals.
Uganda has one of the youngest populations in the world. 70% of its 36.6 million inhabitants are under the age of 30. Close to half of the population are children under the age of 18. In order to realize the dream of a more sustainable future in Uganda, in order to achieve the aspiration of becoming a middle-income country in the medium term, it is imperative for all development stakeholders to join hands together to achieve the SDGs for the youth today and the youth in our future.
In her engagements with the youth from secondary schools, she hinted on various issues hindering the development of parts of the country, urging government to fix a minimum wage as a motivational tool for employees.
If we do not find a way to define a minimum wage for Uganda, it will be very difficult for Ugandans to be protected. There has to be a minimum wage for what is a dignified earning for you doing a job. And this comes back to the industries. If you want your industries to be sustainable and your professionals to get the right remuneration, again, what is the minimum wage? Because otherwise, somebody else is going to come here, do what you're doing, get 10 times more, and how much of the money stays? Little. So that is part of the issue of the minimum wage that is important to start the conversation so that we address it.
Malongo, however, decried the high level of corruption in African countries, calling upon every individual to be on forefront of fighting the vice.
To jointly fight corruption, we need to all promote respect for hard work. Corruption comes from stealing and from disrespect, thinking you can take on what is not yours and what you have not earned. So it's really important that all of us are promoting and demonstrating a respect for hard work. Even when, maybe in the short term, it looks like those who are not working hard are actually getting something for it. It's not sustainable. Second, let's share tools on how to enhance transparency. If management is transparent, you reduce the windows for corruption.
The youth in their 3 days engagement came up with their resolutions on how to achieve the SDGs, which will now be tabled before policymakers to effect the changes prescribed, as UN Association of Uganda Secretary General Richard Bagoma explains.
When they are united, then their voice, their efforts, their advocacy, their push can achieve better results. They also focused a lot on the education, both for the boys and the girls. They insist that these pregnancies must be stopped. But in cases where they do continue, the girls must also be given the opportunity to, after they produce their children, go back to school and go and take all the opportunities that are available. They also emphasized the question of the environment and climate change. They say that for them, the problems of climate change and environmental degradation are affecting them now, but they must start taking bold steps, and demanding from their leaders that this climate change and environmental degradation is reversed, because it affects them now, but also their future.
We managed to speak to some of the youth who attended, and they shared with us their achievements during the conference.
I took caucus number 2, which was dealing with innovation and invention, and I've learned that we, the youth, actually are the ones who are supposed to engage more into innovating and bringing up better infrastructure in the countries, because it's us with the brilliant ideas. The people who are above us have the financial support, they have the knowledge, but we have the creativity. And it's us to engage that creativity, we give it to them so that they can show us and we can build our nation to greater heights. The other thing is that what we can do as a youth is that we should eradicate for this. We should lobby for support. The youth are good at what they can do, but they lack support from the countries, from United Nations. That's why I have such models, and these models should be pushed even to the lower levels, the high schools, the primary schools, so that these people learn about United Nations all the way from the ground roots.
We have 2 outstanding people that we are awarding. We have the best female delegate. His engagement It really stood out. Thank you so much, Nachilinge.
This story was compiled by Kagwa Andrew for WBS.